Well, hello there. If there's something I have learned over 20 years of being a professional artist and painter, is that making the colors I see is not easy, but it can be if you have the right technique. In this video, I am going to show you how to do it step by step, and in the process save you years of struggle trying to figure it out. To show you the photograph that I'm going to be using, I'll be using this too. This is the regular photo and this is the posterized version of it. And this one, I have 9 values. I added 2 more from the values that I had in the black and white because I want the roses to be a little bit more complex. I see a lot more values and different shifts in temperature in the roses, but I don't see it in the background, and I want the background to push back and to be more simple. The roses are going to be more complicated, therefore it makes sense that they have more values. The vase also would be less than 9 values. I'm going to keep it at 7 or slightly less. Now, if you are interested and you want to see how I transform this photograph into this posterized one in which you see all the different shifts in temperature, then you may want to watch this other video in which I explain it in detail and I show you how I do it in Photoshop. These are all the colors that we're going to be using. Titanium white with a little bit of Naples yellow light, cadmium-free yellow pale, rose sienna, quinacridone gold brown, burnt umber, permanent orange. This is permanent orange and magenta, amethyst, ivory black, and I'm putting ivory black here in place of ultramarine blue because I am not going to be using blue in this painting. Viridian, this is ivory black and yellow. This is ivory black and yellow, but with a lot more yellow to make it a light green. And these two are my olive greens. Most of the leaves will be made with this, and also the vase. And these are my 7 grays. The 7 values that I see right here and right here. So with this, we're getting ready to start making the mixtures. The first thing that I do is I grab the gray to match the color that I see exactly. See, make sure that is the right gray. The value needs to be exact, and this makes it a lot easier. And you can see it right here. I have a close-up that shows you the exact color, and after that then I put it right next to it in the piece of paper to see if it's the right value, and then I get the red filter, because the red filter, what it does is eliminates the color completely and let you see the value, and I got the exact value. And once I make it exactly, then I start applying the colors. So you can see I'm speeding up the video right now because otherwise it will take too long, but I'm basically adding viridian, a little bit of rose sienna to that to get that gray and a little bit of yellow, and I'm making the colors. So the thing that I really want you to take off from this video is first you make the gray, which is the value, and then you add the color to the value. If you do that, then number one, you're gonna waste a lot less pigment because white is fairly cheap, but pigments are pretty expensive. All right, and white is the color that we're gonna use the most. So notice that I'm making a second value right now, and now is the purple red or warmer, and you can see the difference in the temperatures now that you can see the green and then the red, which are complementary colors. You're gonna see all that throughout. I continue down making more colors, and I stay pretty organized. Like right now, the only thing that I'm worrying about is the left part of the background, and I want to get those colors as closely as possible as I see them, and I don't want to think too hard about modifying them. Because at the beginning I just want to simplify things and just look at the posterized color of the photograph rather than the regular photograph. So notice how there's the shift in temperature throughout. I can make in the green and the red and the green and the red, but as I'm going further into it, then the difference is that the colors are getting darker. See, now the red version is darker, the green version is darker, and it's getting more purple and gray because it's getting further away from the background. So that greenish tone is more gray. And I continue doing that all throughout until I achieve as many colors as possible. Sometimes I may eliminate one, but for the most part, I try to make every single one that I see. I'm working now all the way to the darker colors that I see, and those can be tricky because you don't want them to be too dull, but at the same time they have to be grayed down enough so they will not detract from the main picture. So at the beginning I always like to say to stay as grayed down as possible, but still have clearly identified colors and temperature shifts. So the main subject, which is going to be the roses, will come forward and really shine. I'm counting the values now to make sure that I have all of the ones that I see in the background. It's time to move into the base now. So as you can see, I'm starting with the darkest dark because it's always the easiest way to achieve. And I do that with the burnt umber, viridian, and the darkest gray. Warm up a little bit with the quinacridone gold orange. And then I work my way down by making sure that I maintain the temperature shifts throughout all the way to the highlights, that I will have more yellow and more white. I continue to match all of the colors that I see using my Holy to make sure that I stay on track. And as you can see, I'm working towards the left of the base now, towards the lighter parts of the base, which are substantially warmer, and I'm adding a lot more red, but at the same time I have to keep maintaining the temperature shifts, between the cool and the warm, the cool being the green, the warm being the red. And I'm adding some of the background colors in there, especially towards the light because it's close to the background, and to modify them somewhat so they're not too bright. I know that this is pretty tedious. I'm slowing it down in here dramatically so you can really see how I completely match the value, because I'm really doing it with every single value. So I know that it is so much work that you might be tempted to skip it and say, I don't want to go through this, but you have to remember that failing to plan is planning to fail. You have to organize your picture and your work, and you need to know how you're going to do everything. And if you skip the most important steps, then the whole painting will fall apart, and then you will struggle throughout. And instead of taking you a painting 3 or 4 days to complete, then you're going to spend 3 weeks on it, and in the end it's not going to be that good. So it's really worth it to put on all this preliminary work beforehand. And mixing the colors of the main rose now, and start with quinacridone gold brown, adding a little bit of permanent orange by Michael Hardin, and adding a little bit of the grays too to soften the colors. It's much better if you can soften them with the grays rather than with pure white, matching the colors as best as I can. I hope you find this video useful, and if you did, please like and subscribe to encourage me to make more videos like this in the future.
And thank you for staying with me.
So now that you've learned this, there is one more thing that can elevate your art to the next level and almost no one is talking about. So click here to find out.